Hello, Emerson Eagles. Kirby is in my office. We are here Wednesday night, kind of late. He came to join me just for a special bedtime story for you guys. I know I usually don't record these on Wednesday nights. I usually record them on Sundays so that you can hear them on Mondays, but we are here so that you can hear the story on Thursday. Thursday, November 7th is Read Across America Day. And students, not just at Emerson Elementary, but students all across Mesa Public Schools and all across the country are going to be reading this story on November 7th. We do that in order to promote literacy. Early literacy is such an important skill, such an important quality to develop in our little kiddos early on, because we know that in order to be a good reader, you have to have a love of reading. We don't want to just teach students how to read. We want to teach students to love reading. There's something about reading that is going to be, every student can be engaged in reading, just whatever kind of book or text they want to. There's something interesting out there to read. One of the ways that we really develop that love of reading is to read to our children, which is why I do bedtime stories for you guys once a week. I want you guys to love reading, and sometimes in order to love reading, you want to just be read to. And that's why I like to read to you guys. All right, Kirby's already been for a walk all around the building. Sometimes when we're here late at night, we go for a walk all around the building. He's discovered that kindergartners through sixth graders leave behind some really interesting smells. He likes to go around and just sniff and investigate what you guys have left behind. I don't get it. It's a dog's life. That's what he likes to do. I don't question it. I just let him do his thing. Tonight's story is called Thank You, Amu, and it is written by Ojge Mora. And this book has a couple of medals on it. This first medal up here, says that this is a Caldecott book. The Caldecott Award is a medal that's given to books for children based on their content, so what's in the book, and it's also really recognizing the beautiful illustrations that are inside this book. You guys will see those illustrations. The other medal, this is a medal for nonviolent social change, a special medal, which you guys know when I think about social change, I think about our vision here at Emerson. What starts here changes the community. Kind of matches what we have going on at Emerson. So I'm going to read this story to you guys. I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you, Amu. And on the inside cover is a note to the reader. It says, note to reader, Amu, pronounced Amu, is the Igbo term for queen. So thank you, Amu. It's like saying thank you, queen. I wonder if we're reading about a real queen today, or if we're reading about somebody who's just so important that we might think of them as a queen. We'll see. Here's another beautiful illustration with the title page. I think this is Amu down here. And there's our first page. So here's Amu. She's got something cooking right here in a pot. On the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Amu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned and stirred it and took a small taste. What a delicious stew, Amu said. Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had. Here's our next page. Here's Amu. Here's the stew with that smell coming from her window. With that, Amu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall toward the street and around the block until, knock, someone was at the door. When Amu opened it, she saw, what do you think she saw? Here's Amu. She saw a little boy. Little boy, Amu exclaimed, what brings you to my home? I was playing with my race car down the hall and I smelled the most delicious smell. The little boy replied, what is it? Thick red stew. Stew, he sighed. That sure sounds yummy. What do you think Amu's going to do? Thick red stew, that sure smells yummy. So here's Amu. Here's the little boy. What do you think she's going to do? Amu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It would not hurt to share. Would you like some? The little boy nodded. And so Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. Thank you, Amu, the little boy said, and he went on his way. Here's our next page. Look at that scent. I loved that verb they used. The scent wafted out the window. It looks like it might be wafting down the street now. With that, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block until, knock, knock, someone was at the door. When Amu opened the door, this time she saw, what did she see this time? She saw, what do you think she sees? If you guessed police officer, I think you're right. A police officer. Miss Police Officer, Amu exclaimed, what brings you to my home? I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most delicious smell. Miss Police Officer replied, what is it? Thick red stew. Ah, stew, she said, and her mouth watered. That sounds mighty tasty. What do you think Amu's going to do? What did she do last time? What is she going to do next? Oh, I think you guessed right. Amu thought for a moment. There was still enough to share. Would you like some? The police officer nodded. Once again, Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. Thank you, Amu, the officer said, and went on her way. Here's our next page. Looks like that scent is wafting even further down the street. And so for the second time, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. Sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block until, knock, knock, knock. Again, someone was at Amu's door. This time she opened it and she saw, what's she going to see this time? A hot dog vendor. She saw the hot dog vendor at the door. Mr. Hot Dog Vendor, Amu exclaimed, what brings you to my home? I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell. Mr. Hot Dog Vendor replied, what is it? Thick red stew. Ooh, stew, the vendor licked his lips. That sounds quite delectable. Ooh, that's a great word. Delectable means the same thing as delicious. I can't wait to read that in somebody's writing. Delectable. Here's the next one. What do you think Amu did? You probably guessed right. So Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. Thank you, Amu, the hot dog vendor said, and went on his way. Here's the next page. Look at all those people. It must be a very busy street or very busy city where Amu lives. Throughout the day, people from all across the neighborhood knocked on Amu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a baker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker. Even the mayor stopped by. Even the mayor. All of those people Amu fed with her thick red stew. And each time they knocked, Amu shared. Uh-oh, here's Amu's pot. There's the pot, there's the spoon. No thick red stew. Soon the sky darkened, the street lights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. But when Amu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, it was empty. Poor Amu. She shared with everybody and now she has an empty pot. Oh no, look at that. I bet she feels good for sharing, but she might also be feeling a little bit hungry. Amu sniffled. There goes the best dinner I ever had. Sorry and blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until knock, 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 knock. Look at all that knocking at her door. Who could that be? Amu wondered. When she opened her door, she saw. Who's she going to see now? Who's left in the city to come and share some thick red stew? She saw pretty much everybody. The little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer, the baker. Why, everyone she fed today was at her door. I'm sorry, everyone, Amu sighed. My thick red stew is all gone. I have nothing left to share. The little boy tugged at Amu's sleeve. Don't worry, Amu. We're not here to ask. We're here to give. So there's the little boy and all the people she shared with. He says, we're not here to ask. We're here to give. Check that out. There's all the people she fed. And what does it look like they're doing? Think in your mind, what are they doing? The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roast chicken. The baker brought a collection of sweet goodies. Even the little boy presented Amu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who had knocked on Amu's door that day squeezed inside her tiny apartment, and together they ate, danced, and celebrated. While Amu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of happiness and love. So her big pot was empty, but her heart now is full of happiness and love. She shared with everybody, and then they gave back. And then you heard somebody gave her a red envelope. Do you see what that says? Can you guys read that? What does it say? You can read it. Read it with me. Thank you, Amu. The dinner was the best she had ever had. And that's the end of Thank You, Amu. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you learned something. You know, what starts here changes a community. Amu started something in her big pot that day. She was making a thick red stew, and the smell wafted out the windows, and hungry people came, and she shared, and she shared, and in the end, she ran out of food. But then everybody gave back. When you can share, then it comes back to you in return. And not only did they come back and share food with her, but she was able to bring the whole community together because everybody came and they danced and they had fun and they laughed. I hope you guys liked this book. I hope you learned something from it. Kirby is around here somewhere. He's probably ready to go home and eat some dinner too. So we're going to go home. We're going to eat dinner. I will see you guys on Thursday for Pajama Day and Read Across America Day. I hope you guys enjoyed this book. All right. In the meantime, have a good day, guys. Big hugs. Mwah. Big kiss. I'll see you soon.